What's up, y'all? Trevon Barber here from Right to Bear and Barber Training Solutions, here to give you some tips and tricks on the way that I store ammo and some ways that you might want to store ammo or think about storing ammo as well. We've also written a blog post going over this exact information in written form with some additional information and context for you. So if you would, click that link down below and let us know what you think about the blog. All right, storing ammunition. So I tend to buy ammo in bulk because I'm a competitive shooter and instructor, and I need thousands of rounds typically per month. So what I do is I actually order in bulk from Excalibur Ammunition, who supports me, whether it's 1,000 at a time, 2,000 or 3,000 at a time, whatever the case may be. I normally order in bulk, and they ship them in these little 500 round containers or the 1,000 round container, which is just a little bit bigger than this one. And what I do is actually transfer that ammunition from these plastic containers to one of these military style metal containers, which holds about 2,000 to 2,300 rounds, so that I don't have a million of these bad boys hanging around, and I'll give these out at the range or I just store them away. But I don't want a million of them hanging out in my office or my gun room, right? So this also gives me an easy head count on how much ammunition I have on hand, because these hold, like I said, around 2,000 to 2,300. I can just count how many I have these in the closet, and I'm pretty much good to go. What I will then do when I'm going to the range, whether competing, practicing myself, or teaching others, is I will load from the big can, 1 can, into these loose sacks from Savior Equipment. I know that this holds around 500 rounds, and these smaller ones that have this translucent top, these hold around 250 to 300 rounds. So I know I'm good enough for a range day or a competition. I'm good to go. What I also do is this can has a bunch of these stickers on it. My other cans do not. This can with the stickers, I know that this is 147 grain 9mm. What you really want to do when storing ammunition, especially if you have different types, different brands, different grains, is make sure that it's clearly labeled, or you have your own labeling system like I do here with these stickers. Also on my loose sack here, this blue one, but I also have some black ones. I've got some multicam ones. I will take this Velcro patch that says Yo Mama and slap it on whichever one of these has my 147 grain Excalibur ammunition in it. I know that the Yo Mama patch means 147 grain ammunition, and I'm good to go. What I also do on these other loose sacks that just have these translucent tops, if you're from Savior Equipment, please put down in the comments what these are actually called, because I have no idea. I just know this is a loose sack. I'm gonna call this the same thing. Loose sack with a clear top. I've just written on the side 147 grain. I've got plenty of them, so I'm okay with just writing, and I mostly shoot 47s. And I've also got this one labeled as 124s. Why the two different types of ammo, you might ask? Well, 147 grain I use primarily for my pistol, and 124 I use primarily for PCC, but I can also use it in pistols. With 147 grain, you typically get less felt recoil in the hand. So when you're shooting competitively, you're really trying to shoot as fast and accurate as possible. The little bit of less felt recoil is helpful. And then 124 grain, still a great shooting round, but a little more felt recoil, a little faster cycling rate. So my PCC, which I shoot of SIG and PX, really prefers the 124 grain for reliability because it really likes a little more gassy bullet. Whereas the 147 grain feels amazing in that gun, but it's a little on the sketchy side on reliability. So that's why I run two different types of 9mm. And then also, if I get a pistol that has a very heavy slide or a very heavy spring, and maybe I'm not willing to swap out that spring or change out that slide or whatever the case may be, 147 grain can sometimes feel sluggish in heavy guns or guns with heavy slides or heavy recoil springs, whereas 124 has just a little more oomph to it to make that slide reciprocate a little more reliably, or feel more reliable. Cool, so moving on from the big box and the loose sacks, I then also will transport ammo in these individual 100 round cases. So you can take the individual cartridges and pop them into these slots here for ease of, well, being able to count them, see if any have high primers, whatever the case may be. People who reload really love these. I used to reload a lot, and that's why I used to keep a bunch of these on hand. These are also what I fly with. That's going to be another video, but I fly with these because they meet airline regulation, because you cannot fly with loose ammo like in these sacks here, or even in this box considered being loose. They want them in these boxes like this. What I also do is Excalibur is one of the companies who will actually ship your ammo directly to matches or to ranges on your behalf. You just got to let them know in your shipping. And they will ship them in this 500 round container. Sometimes I'll just take this exact container with me or have them ship it to the match. So also a good way to store ammunition. It's a way that it also locks out the air and a little bit of water. If you get too much water on anything, water will find a way to get in, but it does lock out the air. It helps you keep them hot and cold regulated, etc., etc. So another good way to store ammo, especially indoors for a medium long-term storage. This is really what I go for with very long-term storage. Long-term meaning several years. Ammo will stay good as long as you keep it good. This is a trick I learned from a shooting buddy on the range. I saw him feeding ammo out of a old Trigicon box from his optic, and I was like, man, that's smart. Don't go buy another box or keep a bunch on hand. Trigicon sends your optics in some very nice boxes. Just rip the foam out of it, and this thing will hold around 300, 350 rounds, more than enough for most matches. So I actually adopted that, and I'm keeping my RCR box, and I have my, I think, SRO box or something like that. For it's a little bit smaller, so they also hold ammunition just fine. Box the elements out. I've actually got a bunch of random tools in here right now, but another easy way to store ammo instead of going and buying more boxes. Now, the easiest and the number one way that most folks store ammunition is just in the manufacturer's factory boxes. This also allows you to easily see what type of ammunition is, who makes it, the caliber. Some of these have ballistic information. Yeah, this one does, and that's good to go. So this one's plastic from CCI. This one's cardboard from Norma. Excalibur will send these little, what do you call them, like demo baggies of ammunition to try out as ammo. This comes in this little sealed plastic, and it also has the ammunition information there. So the biggest things when you're storing ammunition is, one, keep it in a cool, dry place. You don't want to get in super hot. You don't want to get in super cold, because some ammo or some powders that manufacturers use can be hot or cold sensitive. So some ammo, if it gets really hot, that powder might burn faster or burn slower, meaning your velocities get faster, your velocities get slower. So that's more or less felt recoil. That could throw you off in competition. It could cause malfunctions, whatever the case may be. So you really kind of want to keep your ammo in a medium range. If it feels good to you inside your home, your ammo is going to like it. If it's hot to you, your ammo is probably a little hot. If it's cold to you, your ammo is probably a little cold. That's just a good rule of thumb to keep it. Now, is it going to function just fine when it's hot outside? Yes. Is it going to function just fine when it's cold outside? Yes. But do be aware that you could have some fluctuation based on the storage of that particular ammo, especially if it's been stored for a very long time while being cold or while being hot. Just something to think of. So try to store your ammo in some decent temperatures. Typically your 70s is where you want to keep it. Do not let ammunition get wet. If the ammo gets wet, it's pretty much useless. You could have some hang fires, meaning that you press the trigger, the striker is struck, the ammo is burning, but super, super slow. You think the gun's not going to go off, and then bang. That powder was wet, so it burned very slowly. That could cause a catastrophic malfunction, which you do not want. So let's not have that. So if you're going to move ammunition from the factory boxes or cartons or factory packaging, make sure that it's clearly labeled so that at least you know what it is. But you also want to make sure that ammunition is not accessible to unauthorized persons, and especially children. Unauthorized could be anybody who you don't want having access to that ammo, whether somebody broke into your home, a family member, whatever the case may be. If they're not supposed to have their hands on the ammunition, it is your responsibility to keep that put away and also keep it in good working order. If you got any questions or comments, please drop them down below. We'll be happy to reach out to you. And please go check out the blog that we wrote. It's going to go into more contextual details for you. Let us know if you like it, and let us know if you like this sort of content. We plan to keep rolling this stuff out as often as we can. Until we see you again, please stay safe and shoot straight. Later.